Welcome back to the Every.Thing.After studio. I'm your host, Rob, and my guest this week is Cellophane Jane's own Superman villain, singer, songwriter, mixed master Lex Moda, who is also an artist in residence at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland. Cellophane Jane is a Cleveland-founded rock quartet that since 2017 has put out 6 albums and describe themselves as glam pop electric preachers of rock and roll. I just love that, man. That's cool. Their latest album, A Party of Cranes, dropped this June and is a loud and raw reckoning with vices, memory, and escape. I saw the band recently play a show at Cleveland's The Winchester Music Tavern, and you guys really brought the rock and the glam. Thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Rob. That was a great show too, playing with two terrific bands. Lily A is just one of my favorite bands to play with. I love Lydia and Donnie and all them, you know. And I just met Tim Parnan by working at the Rock Hall with the Slow Groove Kings. Killer
Yeah.
guitar player, you know.
Diving into your music, I got to tell you, I got a little Jack White,
Sure, yeah,
a little
totally.
Iggy Pop, maybe
Uh,
even a little Rush, you know, with the guitar syncopation and like even a little bit of like a Geddy Lee like vocal range.
People say that. It was just funny because like I didn't get into Rush until maybe, well, I guess 7 years ago, huh? And that's when I started the band. But one of my biggest influences is Steve Marriott from Humble Pie. And he's just got
Yeah.
ferocious range that just goes and
Yeah.
goes, and the vibrato and stuff. But like everyone keeps on saying, "Hey, it's like Geddy Lee." I'm like, "Is that good? Is that bad? I'll take it.
No,
It's
it's
cool."
good, man. It's good. I think again compared to Rush. I mean, yeah, man, you got some good stuff going on. I saw somewhere. I was in my research. I saw somewhere that your first concert was for Jet when you were was it 7 years old?
Yeah. I went and saw Jet and Oasis at Blossom Music Center. Jet had just come out with "Are You Gonna Be My Girl," and they were working on the second record. It wasn't quite out yet. I think this was their first major tour in the U.S. Sabian opened the show. I don't remember their performance at all, and they ended up, I think, lasting and being bigger than Jet at some point. But I was took.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense musically too. I think that I can get that sort of like that energy from your music as
There's
well.
something,
And I think
something
you,
about that punch, you know, like they
yeah,
really
man, the
just they
punch.
hit so
That's what
hard
it's
on
all
that.
about.
Yeah,
The punch, the hook and the punch. That's all.
yeah,
That's what it's
yeah.
all about.
Hit them real hard.
Yeah, man. I saw you did a bit of a cover too of "Are You Gonna Be My Girl," right?
Dude, so funny. Like, I've got friends that work at the Rock Hall now and stuff, and one of my dudes, he loves Jet, and I don't know anybody else besides me that still likes them, which I think is kind of funny. But he was like, "I got a secret, and I'm not going to tell you about it until it happens, but you need to be ready." And I was like, "All right, whatever, you know, make sure you're free on Friday." I was like, "Okay, cool." Of course, on that Friday, I had like a show at the 5 o'clock lounge, and so I was trying to figure this thing out, and he goes, "Hey, I got us tickets to Jet," and I was like, so I was excited. I wanted to. Ooh, I'm getting a little echo here. I wanted to see if I could go to the show, but also play my show too. But then I ended up making this tribute thing to it because I was like, it's a new thing. I've been trying to like, record covers and do a little funny thing with it. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that song in particular too is my favorite. And I played the show, gunned it down there, made every single green light, ran into the lot, and he gave me the ticket, ran in, and they were playing that song.
Oh man, right when you walked in,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
like perfect, right? Sometimes you get that, don't you? Like this, it's more. It's got to be more than coincidence because you hop in the car, you're going to the show, and you turn on the car, you turn on the radio, and it's like the song, like the soundtrack of like your concert experience. Sometimes and it just syncs up somehow. Like in
Hmm.
that, like walking in as like the song is playing. It's almost like we all got sort of our own little soundtrack thing going on, and nobody else really knows about it, right?
Serendipitous. Yeah.
It is. So talk about then. That's a great segue. Talk about the soundtrack of your life a little bit. Talk about your musical history, your musical heritage. That first concert was something that had an impact on you, obviously. But like, where did your love of music come from? Where'd your songwriting and your style come from?
Sure. You know, when I was maybe like 4 years old or something, my sister started taking piano lessons. And like I come from a pretty musical family. My dad was a professional drummer in the 70s and 80s. My uncles had played together all the time. And every Christmas we had people just like bringing out guitars and singing. So it was always like a very kind of communal thing. But my sisters were taking piano lessons, and they would come home and they'd be playing the little things, and they would walk away, and I would go over there and I could just pick it up by ear, and I would start playing their lesson.
Yeah,
So eventually I started getting into piano lessons. Picked up guitar, I think when I was probably 10. My brother Alan, he plays guitar all over town. He's been playing since like 1997 or something like that, and he's put out, geez, I was joking with him yesterday. I think it was like 72 different releases since 1997. But he taught me my first chords, and I couldn't put it down. I just loved it
yeah,
ever since. Started trying to write songs when I was maybe 13. I got into like a hardcore punk band. We were called the Antics, and it was with my friend John, and we would just like go downstairs, and he had like a booklet of like lyrics, and he was like, I don't know what these go to, just sing something to it and, play. So we probably made up 10 songs on the spot and just blasted through these things. It's like this great trashy recording. I put it on like a cassette that was right next to a PA speaker. It sounds awful and I love it. But that was like my first experience writing songs and playing with somebody else too. And then it progressed from there. I met some other people that were into hard rock, and classic rock is kind of like the roots of where I came from. We started playing around town. We called ourselves the Marauders. We were we were a four-piece. I was always the lead singer. I remember when I was in grade school, we were practicing downstairs in the basement. I had somehow managed to convince the principal to let us have a talent show. There was no guitar teachers or anything, and I never took a lesson. I'm self-taught. Somehow I convinced them to let us play downstairs and practice, and we didn't have microphones. So I would just be screaming at the top of my lungs to try to be heard, and I would just tapped into this register that I still that's what I sing with now. But the point is I've always been the lead singer in that way, just because I've been the quickest, the loudest, ready, to jump. But yeah, we played around town as Marauders for I think 4 years or so. I was part of the Cleveland Blues Society. We did the whole blues circuit. That imploded when I was in college. I started a new band called the Pistolettes. We played for 5 years, maybe something like that. Kind of like a mix of Franz Ferdinand kind of funk with some more hard rock elements still. My hard rock just kept on creeping in every single time. I'd be collaborating with somebody, and then it would just get harder and heavier and more intense and punchy. That ended pretty quickly, and at that point, I started this new band, and it was the idea to sit down, write a whole record, mix it, master it, put it out in a week. May 1st was coming, and I was like, okay, I've got some time. I've got a whole week. Let's make it happen. I even took a day off, which is kind of insane to me. I halfway through it, recorded the whole thing on a 4-track because I wanted to just get back to it, get away from digital stuff. And took a day off halfway through. I was like, I got time. The day I put the record out, I didn't have a name and I didn't have a logo. And I'm a graphic designer, illustrator by trade. I remember it was 6:30 in the morning, and I sat down and just scribbled something out really quickly, put it in the computer. Okay, cool. Hit send. We're done. But the name Cellophane Jane, usually I tell people it comes from Mark Bolan. He, likes to rhyme these things together. Mark Bolan from T-Rex likes to rhyme these things together like Telegram Sam, Electric Blue Sue, and so I was Cellophane Jane. But before that, it came from, I was writing these lyrics and I wrote Insane Lane the Mundane. Cellophane, I got this obsession. For Easter, we were a Catholic family. For Easter, we would get these Easter baskets that had just wrapped in cellophane. There was something about you could see through it, but it was colorful and it was and stuff. So I loved cellophane, and I was just rereading my blog post because I forgot where Jane came from. I thought it was just the rhyme. I used to have this cassette that I found of Jane's Addiction. I think I found it on the street somewhere. I think it was a Ritual De La Habitual, and I would just hide it in my sock drawer because it had a dirty cover on it. I was nobody can know about this. And I don't even think I listened to it ever. I don't think I had a means to, but I always had the cassette. So I guess that's where Jane comes from, which is that's pretty funny to me.
I love that, man. I love that. I was gonna ask, you stole some of my questions there by going into that, but that's great. I love it. I read that blog and I thought, man, this is a music nerd. You spent a week just kind of experimenting with formats and just and just kind of, I just imagine you sort of locked in a basement, kind of just in there, just
I was, yeah,
just over a cassette deck and
yeah,
and everything.
Yeah.
Just
it's exactly how it went down. And it was so funny is I would I'd come downstairs, I had everything set up on the floor, and I would sit cross-legged, and I would record everything with a little cup of hot chocolate next to me. And so then finished the record, put it out, felt great. I was I'm gonna do 5 more. Why not? King Gizzard had just started doing their crazy releases that one year, so I was I'm gonna do that too. So I worked on the single for the Rita, the song that was the bigger one off of it. And I sat down, I got everything together again. I had my 4-track, my set of tapes, my hot chocolate, and I had this guitar pedal that I loved that helped me get this warbly sound. and I kicked the hot chocolate and dumped all over everything. And so I was like, well, I guess we're going digital now. So that was kind of the end of that. I had to get a new pedal because that pedal just became such a defining characteristic of my sound, and I was like really freaking out, but also like, of course, this would happen the day that I'm going to start
Yeah.
doing this.
Man, that's sweet. Hot chocolate sort of like changed the course of your musical trajectory for the band there. So you need to write a song about hot chocolate or something. You got an album coming out of hot chocolate. You got something there.
Right.
Maybe that's the name of your next band. You're on point with the band naming though. The band names though. You've come up with some pretty good ones.
That's what people are saying, which is kind of funny. Like, I feel sometimes I look at Cellophane Jane and I'm like, is it like a Foo Fighters kind of thing where I just like threw it together really quick and then it's like I didn't put a ton of thought into it and one day I'm going to regret it, but like, I don't know. It's fun. The alliteration's cool and just the flow of that, like that logo looks so cool too. So I'm like, yeah.
I think it looks great. Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Great style on that. So it started as kind of a solo project for you, and it's turned into a quartet. So tell me about the evolution of the band, and talk if you want to shout out some of your band members and sort of how you got together and how that came together.
So my constant, my rock, my dude, Nathan Taylor, he plays the drums. I recently started calling him Bongo because I was like, I get nicknames for everybody. There's no Michael in my life. They're all Mickey from now on. Anyone that's got a B in their name becomes B instantly. That's it. I was playing with Nate since I was like maybe 15. He was in the Marauders with me, and my dad taught him how to play drums. My dad became a drum teacher at some point. So he was his like first student, his best student. He needed to jam with people because he hadn't played with anybody before. So he started coming over. We started jamming, started writing songs together. And then when the Marauders ended, we stopped talking. He went to Cleveland State, and I went to Cleveland Institute of Art. I did the Pistolettes without him, and then when I finished that band, I started doing this again. I kind of like mended the bridge. I was like, come on, let's start doing stuff together again. So he technically has been a part of it since the beginning, but he hasn't recorded on anything until I think the 5th album, Ballad of the Bad Luck Boy. Yeah, but he's just always been waiting in the wings. And he was playing live with me at that point. Truly, like, this recording project, as I called it, was never supposed to play live. I was fed up after the Pistolettes was done. I just had to keep on trying to convince people that playing live was fun, and I was done. Couldn't deal with it. So started recording these records, and Nate was like, hey, like, maybe you want to play out, maybe you want to come on, this is pretty good. So I finally did it, and I feel good about it. I like playing out. As you could tell when I was doing that show, I'm a very high energy kind of guy, and I like to scream and shout a lot. So then I went through a series of different people in the band leading up to Connor Peterson joining on bass. And Connor used to be in a band that he probably doesn't want me to talk about, so I won't talk about him. But when I saw him, he was in a unitard, kind of like a gym outfit or something. Really tiny, and he had a big American flag cape on, and he was just running like crazy on the stage. And I was like, shoot, dude, like if I could play with it, he would like take his bass and slap it, throw it around, and I was like, if I could get that guy to play with me, that would be amazing. And one day I gave him a call, and he was like, yeah, I'd love to. So he was done with his other band. He came through, and now he plays in a band called Wigged Out as well, which is an incredible, emo punk kind of thing emo grunge, I would say. But he played 30 seconds on Ballad, but he was in the band before that for maybe like half the record. That record took so stupid long to make because COVID screwed everything up, And then our guitar player, Mike Lowry, he's in another band called Shebang. And I had played with him. He had a band called All's Harvest before that. It's the same band, but they changed their style, they changed their sound. It's all the same people. But I had recorded the All's Harvest record at my old place, and their guitar player, it just wasn't working out, so I came in and started playing guitar, and then I started playing shows with them. So anytime he couldn't play, or I couldn't have my bass player play, I would have All's Harvest back me up as Cellophane Jane. So it became this kind of communal band thing, and I kept trying to get him to join. He kept trying to get me to join, and were like, I'll join you if you join me. but I was always just trying to get him to come over to me. So technically, I'm also in shebang, but I have yet to play, which is okay.
Yeah.
I love Mickey though. He's a character, man.
Yeah, you guys have great chemistry on stage too. You have a great connection. It's
Thank you.
definitely apparent. Like you play with each other. It's pretty great.
Hmm.
You said an album took a long time through COVID, but I gotta say, man, putting out 6 albums in 8 years. I mean, that's almost frenetic pace. I mean, that's fast.
To me, it's
That's
not
not slow.
enough. You know, like my brother is really, really big into guided by voices, and like Bobby Pollard doesn't stop. You know, he's got 6 records a year, and my brother's kind of like that too. He's like I said, he's on his like 76th release. I think he's on his like 18th record. We're gonna start working on soon. I've been playing with him since I was 16, and I think I'm on maybe half of the catalog, 7 records or something like that. He does a Christmas single every single year, so like we're just like constantly trying to put stuff out and work. But I think I got that kind of ethic from him, and I just want to put out as much stuff as I possibly can. I already have like the next 4 records written. I just have to like pace
Wow.
myself and not put it out right away.
How do you have time for anything else?
That's all I do.
It's you're dedicated, man.
Oh
That,
yeah,
you're
I
in
love
it.
it.
You're
Live and
in it.
breathe it. And
That's
apparently I
awesome.
drink it too.
That's awesome, man. Tell me about your songwriting process, though. How do you crank them out so fast? Like, is it just you said that you have this you picked up music by ear and like not trained, and I mean I think that's incredible. That's amazing. There are people that do that, and those are our geniuses. You're a genius. But like
I'll take that.
songwriting, like what is the process like for you? Like where does an idea come from, and how does it evolve? How does it grow?
It's funny, it happens in so many different ways. So like I think my process changes all the time. It used to be I would just be like writing like like bad poetry and like lyrics all the time. And I would try and put music to that. Like when I was saying like with the antics, that he would just come in with a sheet of words and I would just like write the music on the spot. Boom, songs were done. Now, lately, it's the kind of thing where I feel like songs are in the ether and I'm just like casting a divining rod trying to catch it, and then it just like happens to come to me, and then that's it. Like I've written songs from dreams. I've written songs about like old English literature. Like there's this song called Bartleby that's on the Rita EP. There's something about that Bartleby the Scrivener, and that phrase of like I'd prefer not to. I was like, I want to write a song about that. Like sometimes I'll like most of my songs I think are about things that have happened to me in my life. That is the one instance in which it's like I could write about something else one of these days. Just like maybe I'll write a whole symphony on Oedipus or something. But yeah, and the lyrics usually come at the end for me. I'll write the whole song. I'll like record every instrument for it. It's like a big demo nowadays. Now I've got Connor and I've got Nate playing on everything, but I'll usually do like a whole full band demo by myself, and I'll just like slam out the lyrics and try to figure out what to write about. There was a track on Garbage Harbor called Saturn's Dream, and to figure out what I wanted to lyric, I was like trying to figure out a mood. So there's this incredible painting I think it's by Goya, called Saturn Devouring His Sun, and I would just like stare at this painting and try to come up with words and stuff. And I ended up writing about Icarus flying too close to the sun and his wings melting and then falling into like a pool of acid. So I don't know. They kind of come from all over the place.
That's great, man. I love that. It's prose. Your lyrics are prose. I mean,
Thank you.
you're writing stories, and it's awesome. So, being an artist in residence for the Rock Hall, tell me a little bit about that. I mean, do you do that solo, or you do that with your band when you play?
So it's technically solo, but Cellophane Jane's kind of like a Tame Impala or a Nine Inch Nails situation where like it's a band, but it's just me, but it's also everybody. Now, all of the performances that I've done so far, I've actually just performed this week. The last one I had, it got canceled because it rained. All those performances have just been me by myself with tracks, and I've always been kind of weird about backing tracks. Recently, finally kind of gave in to the idea of it. I was against it because it felt like karaoke, but I'm playing guitar. I'm singing. I played all the instruments on the backing tracks. I recorded them specifically for these performances. So I feel a little bit better about that. But we're gonna do a larger performance in August, and I'm gonna have the full band back me up. But the places that they have me playing right now, it's too small to have a full band, so it works out okay. It's such a cool program. It's kind of like a music mentorship program, I would say. They give us the space to like work on our stuff and hone our ideas and hone our crafts, and but they give us the tools we need to take it to go that next step. So they've given us like media training to talk to people like you, or people on the radio, people on television. They've given us seminars on performing rights organizations. They've given us talks about sync licensing and like what else we could do with our music. We talked to Brent Kirby. He came through and he like gave us tips on like how to approach getting new types of gigs and how to talk to these people. So it's been really cool. I'm checking out all the different departments because I'm in media and I'm in like marketing and advertising. So I've been shadowing the advertising team and trying to see like how is it different than anything that I've learned so far, and how do they function in an institution that's also a museum. You wouldn't really think about advertising, right? But yeah.
You're Cleveland born and raised, right? You've been Cleveland basically all your life.
But yeah.
Rock Hall, one of those things like where, you know, maybe you don't appreciate it if it's always been here for you, right? Maybe you don't. I've talked to people that have lived in Cleveland all their lives and maybe haven't been to the Rock Hall or maybe been once or twice or whatever. Do you remember the first time you went to the Rock Hall?
I was in 5th grade and I went with my best friend Joe Briggs. He's a comedian he's from Cleveland. He moved to New York. He comes back all the time. But his dad took us to the Rock Hall, and it was, I think the Warped Tour exhibit had just come through. And that was the music of the time for me. So like they had like My Chemical Romance stuff and Fall Out Boy stuff and Simple Plan. I think there was some Green Day stuff there too, which doesn't really make sense for Warped Tour, but it was all pop punk, and it was just like destroyed instruments and like, Vans shoes everywhere. And that was a really cool moment to see. And some things like, since I've been going there recently, a lot of stuff has changed. The way that they have these like wall wraps, they're beautiful. And these big, 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 just like, it's almost like billboards of type, but it's like, it's designed very well. That guy really knows what he's doing. So a lot of that stuff has changed, but they still have like the Hendrix section, and it's all the same stuff that I saw back when I was in 5th grade. But it's elevated now, There's still like the section that had like the ZZ Top drums, and they've got the spinning guitars and stuff. But all those new exhibits they got going on, it's always changing there. I feel like every day I see something new that I've never seen, I walk through that area every single day, constantly finding stuff.
Is there an exhibit that I mean, is there like an altar for you that you have to like pay tribute to every time you're there?
It used to be Kurt Cobain's Jaguar, I think, was there long time ago. Every time I go, I'd see it. Or Leadbelly's 12 string. That always blew me away. Now, lately, it's been Elton John's jacket. He's got this like puffy jacket there with his name on the back. I love looking at that thing.
Man, I could see you in an Elton John puffy jacket. I could see you doing that. You could rock that.
Funny enough, I made a jacket that says Lex on the back. After I saw that, I was like, okay, I need this. This is going to be mine. It's got stars on it. I have to sew it back together. I used like hot glue and safety pins, and it just
Your glasses are a little like Elton John, like Crocodile Rock kind of like look going on there, like with the white frames and stuff. It's cool,
I've
man.
got maybe 12 different pairs of glasses that I'll start rotating out. And like I used to wear black frames all the time, and like I need these to see, so these are prescription. But like I tried to wear black frames again, and like I look like a different person. So sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna be in disguise today, and I'll put on a different pair of glasses, and I'll wear like all Carhartt or something, and it doesn't. I'll walk past people that know me, and they don't know it's me, and I'm like, okay, this is my Clark Kent Superman thing going on here.
Yeah.
Cool. Recently,
Man, I feel like we're lucky to get a peek inside your studio here. I think your studio is just so sweet. Can you give us a bit of a tour, like just from where you're sitting there?
Sure.
What you got going on there?
So this is my pedal board. It's kind of a monster, but it's only really like four pedals. There's like a vocal pedal. There's my main amp-ish pedal. It's like a line 6 thing. There is, let's see if I can do this with my hand. The whammy pedal, which gives me like octaves up, octaves down, and there's a chorus. There's this tiny little, it's got the blue light on. It's a Fab Echo. And one of my dad's friends, the late Jamie Klimek, he was in a band called Mirrors back in the 70s in Cleveland. They were proto-punk. He would hate to hear that, I think. He was every little bit punk that you could imagine. You know, there was nothing before him. He is punk. He had this pedal, and he was showing it to me, and it makes this great, like, kind of sound. One time I was playing at Heights Hop over by Cedar Lee, and when you click on like the button to do the crosswalk, it does that ba 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 sound. So what would happen is like we were playing right up front, like a gyro place or something. Somebody started doing it. I started doing it. So then they were clashing with each other, and it's just like, where am I? You know. So this is my pedal board. Behind it, I've got two reel-to-reels. One of them was my dad's. I don't use stuff like it's supposed to be used. I love anything that's got like a 1/4-inch jack into it. I would just want to plug a guitar right into it. I haven't done it yet, and I keep forgetting to do it, but sometimes you go into an elevator, and they've got a 1/4-inch jack, and I'm like, what goes in there? I know a guitar will go in there. I want to know what happened. I've collected a series of PV mixers for a long time. They were huge, like 24 channels or something, and they had like wood paneling on the sides. I think I had like 4 of them, and I got like every single size you could get. I just loved it. But I needed to downsize when I moved into this studio, so I found this super rare rack version of it. So I've got that over there. That's what I run my vocals through and get spring reverb. There's a couple other like rack effects units. Like I think I've got like 7 graphic equalizers behind the Cellophane Jane sign. Let's see what else is there. More reel-to-reel stuff over here. And one time I had a dream that my uncle was walking around with like one of those tiny, it's like a microphone that's got like a cassette tape thing attached to it. And he's walking around and he's just like saying this phrase over and over again. The next day I went into a thrift store and I found one. So I bought it. You know, anything I can plug a guitar into, that's what's in this room, basically. I just play with junk, which is fun.
That's cool. It's a really cool space you got there. That's a really cool setup.
Thank you.
Dig it a lot. It's just really awesome.
A lot of salt lamps, too. It's kind of hot.
So we've talked about a couple places that you've played around. Tell me about, you have a favorite venue in the Cleveland area that you like to play at? I saw you at the Winchester. You play at the Rock Hall. You play all over the place. But where do you call home base, man?
So it used to be the Euclid Tavern before they closed up.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Euclid Tavern with all my heart. Every day after school, I would go there. But hands down, 125,000%, the 5 o'clock lounge in Lakewood. Debbie and Angelo are the greatest people I've ever met. I feel like that's my home, you know? I feel like I play there probably like every month. It's just, there's something about that room and the people that go there. There's a lot of characters that come through. It's one of the, if not the only place in town that doesn't have a cover charge. And the bands still get paid. Like, great. I love that place so much. And Russell, the sound guy, all the bars, everybody. I love that place so much. That's my place.
Good shout out, man. That's awesome. Do you have any stories about, have you done much touring in terms of outside of, or you sort of stick to the region, the area? Have you gone out?
No, I haven't. You know, so I started like making this list of contacts before COVID hit, and I was all set to go to Detroit, and I knew like 5 bands there, and I was like, I'm going to make this work. This is going to be it. COVID hit. We waited a while, and then it was like, okay, time to try something new. Let's go on tour. All of the bands stopped playing music. So then I was like, okay, I got a couple contacts in Columbus. They all stopped playing music. Buffalo stopped playing music. Every single contact I had stopped playing music. So I was like, okay, this isn't going to work anymore. Just got to focus around here. But now I feel very, very lucky and blessed that all these touring bands are coming through. I've got all these great contacts in Nashville now. I've got a ton of contacts in Chicago and Detroit. So now gonna make it happen. We've been talking about it like crazy, and all these people, all of these bands are just so warm and welcoming and excited to have me come out. I'm dying for it. I'm hoping either this fall or maybe like trial by fire. Go on tour in the winter for the first.
Yeah, man. What? Hey, why not? Man, that's crazy though. Like we went through some stuff, and of course, live music took a real hit, and it's resurging now. It's you're starting to feel it now, but it took a while. Like it was bruised and just kind of sitting on the sideline there for a little bit, and it was really sad. I mean. But the more I talk to people, though, bands and songwriters and things like, it's not like it stopped either, because like and during that time, like people were not performing live, but a lot of songwriting was happening during that time too, because people had time to sort of create and put stuff together. What was that like for you?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, if I can, I come down here. And I've got like a back catalog of like 1,000 songs. So I'm trying to like pull from those and work on those every day. And so when COVID hit, I didn't really stop working. I was the only person that was still working, and I definitely shouldn't have been. But it gave me a lot of time by myself to like listen to demos that I was working on, go home and keep on working on those demos. So nothing changed in that way for me. And because this project wasn't supposed to play out, I just went back to square one, where I was just like, okay, just work on studio recordings, start working on the record. The record that came out of that was Ballad of the Bad Luck Boy. And I started working on that probably in 2020. Yeah, 2020, because we were supposed to start working on it, and then Nate couldn't come over anymore. So we were like telecommuting with each other, and like I would send him demos, and he'd send me like just drum takes that I could record over. We finally got back together and started working on stuff. I think it was like September or August. We laid down some demos, and then it got messed up. And then we laid down more in December, and it got messed up. So then the next spring we did it again. Finally stuck with those. That record's wild. I got in a car accident when I was 17. This dude just like T-boned my car, and I hit my head against the window. And I forgot everything before I was 17. So like I just like lost all my memories. They were just like gone. And I started getting all these like weird speech problems. I got tendonitis in all my joints. I had like a thyroid condition developed. So I started just going through this weird phase of like, I couldn't even hold like a pencil to draw anymore. So I reached a pivotal moment in my life where it was like the only thing I could do was play piano, because there was no tension just going down like this. So I started playing piano again, and I was like, you know what? I don't think illustrating is going to be the way to go for me anymore. I think I'm going to have to just dive deeper into music. So that record chronicles 10 years of dealing with that, and like from the beginning, every single track is a year as it goes. So it's a constant. It goes through all the way to the end, and at the end, you're hopeful that things change and you change, and you're going to get out of it. But it was a brutal record to write too, because then I had to take myself all the way back to those moments. It was really, really tough, and I don't know that I would do it again. I feel good about it now. I used to not be able to listen to it just because like I could hear, even talking about it right now kind of chokes me up. I could hear just the pain and the anguish that I was going through. It's the kind of stuff that sticks with me.
That's incredible, man, that you came through that and you're making music, and it seems like it was it's something you had to get out. That record, it's something, it was part of the healing process for you, it seems like, which is incredible. I think how music can heal and kind of like patch in like all our cracks and stuff like that sometimes, I think it's just incredible. I was listening to some interviews with Stephen Colbert here over the weekend, because I heard the news about his show getting canceled.
Right? What is that about?
And that crazy. But I heard the story about that Anderson Cooper had done an interview with Stephen Colbert, and he told a story about how he's been through some stuff, obviously. Like, I don't want to tell his story. He should tell his story. But the message I got from it was that he said, being grateful for the thing that you most wish had never happened to you, because it makes you who you are, because it gives you like, it allows you to be a deeper person, a better person, a person who expresses empathy for others because you've been through something yourself that's tragic and terrible. Do you have that? Do you feel like you have that? A
Totally.
little bit of that?
Yeah, it's funny. I look back on the moments, because I started like studying memory and trying to understand like, like creating new memories and like creating false memories, and there's like so many different things about, like, you got to have like a picture, the person who's in the picture with you telling you about it, and that gives you like a sense of trust, and you can just start creating these memories in your head. So I would like sit with my grandma and my mom and like go through these photo albums of family vacations and birthdays and stuff and just start rebuilding this set of memories. But I think back about who I was and who I was friends with and the groups that I would like talk to at that time, and I really feel like I was more of a self-centered person with a really, really big ego, and just kind of felt like they were gonna take on the world and win everything. And felt very humbled after that, because I think my future was to be like a greeter at Walmart at that point, and I was like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like I was an artist and I was a musician. I was like doing so many different things, and the future was so bright, and it all got just taken away in 2 seconds by a drunk driver. So I just, it took me a long time to reconcile that it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. It was kind of like a hard reset, you know? And it's still something I kind of like, I look at every day and I go, where would I now if that didn't happen?
Right. And, part of what you rock hard. And I think that now that I know that, just knowing that story now, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, because you rock hard, and it's almost like I get the sense that you're fighting for that in a sense, like this was a fight that we put up for the things that really drive us, for the everything in our lives. The fight that we put up for that is just no fight like that. Like, that's the
No.
fight,
Right.
I saw Ryan Adams last night in Columbus, and I wasn't really fully aware of just the struggle that he's gone through to continue to make music and to continue to play music and everything. And it was really remarkable, because he was having some issues with the venue because of some of the just sort of the ambient noise, the background noise and everything. And it was kind of messing with his condition and everything like that. And he had to power through that, fight through that, to be able to make music for the crowd that was there to hear it. And
yeah, it's tough.
it just, the fight that we put up to keep doing that stuff, it just hits me. It's just something special about that. So I really respect that a lot.
Thank you. And something, I was able to pull from that too was just like staring down that loaded gun, for lack of a better term, of like, you're never going to play music again. You're never going to make art again. I was in physical therapy and they told me, you're done. That's it. It's over. You can't do anything anymore. To face that, like, legitimately, and then come to terms with it and accept it, and then to meet somebody else. I went to I got a brain scan and I met a brain doctor, and they're like, we're going to work with you. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it through. And having already accepted that it's done, and having somebody come through and say, I don't know why someone would ever say that to you. Don't give up on your dreams and keep on going. Like, what a breath of fresh air. And just like, thank God, for like a second chance. And like, I'm not going to waste this opportunity. I'm here to rock. That's the end of that.
Man, I didn't even know that story. And like that, we were talking before the show about sort of what this show has become. And in a lot of ways, it's been a show about that fight to stay, creative, to keep creating, to keep following our dreams and our passions and stuff after being through some stuff, everything after. And man, that's just remarkable. I'm so glad that you shared that story. I appreciate that. Was such a great story for you to share.
Thank you. Yeah, it's still hard to talk about, but like
I bet
it's my truth, and I gotta speak it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's incredible. All right, so to get back on the
get off the heavy train and let's talk about some rock, baby.
Yeah. So you said you want to tour. You got something. You're hankering to get out there and share your music with a wider audience and some other locations and things like that. Let's talk about your dream tour for a minute. Put on your dream hat and what bands do you want to tour with? Who do you want to collaborate with on stage? Who do you think fits with Cellophane Jane in a musicality? Why?
What's tough for me sometimes is I look at like music that's like mainstream, and I feel like they're lacking conviction. There's a little bit of just noise, So I end up digging deeper into like garage roots and stuff for that. I look at someone like King Gizzard, or I look at someone like Ty Segall, and like those are people that are doing things that I feel like I'm doing right now or capable of doing at some point. If there was like a larger act that I would love to open for, would be someone like the Struts, because that dude, he could sing. He could really freaking sing, and he's such a performer. I saw them a long time ago, actually, at the Rock Hall. Killer stuff. Just sometimes I'm like, was I born in the wrong era? Like, should I have been in the '70s or something? Right now, at least, more local types of bands. I've got a great friend, Winton Huddle, and he's in a band called Winton Existing. They're going to be touring pretty soon. I would love to go on tour with him. He's from Nashville. Killer psych rockers. There's this band called Clementine from Chicago that I love so much. They're kind of like emo power pop. Love to tour with Clementine. They're just, and that guy goes on tour. Joe, he goes on tour every month. They're just really, really getting the grind going. So one of my kind of acquaintances, friends, loosely friends, I talk to him sometimes. His name's Jossie. He just got picked up by Alice Cooper, and he recorded on the brand new Alice Cooper record. He is everything that glam needs to be right now. I would love to tour with Jossie.
Yeah, sweet, man. Okay, I'm going to do a quick rapid round. This is something I came up with 10 questions that are not music related that I just want to run through with you. So
yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. What's your happy dog hot dog combo?
I heard people talking about Fruit Loops the other day. Not Fruit Loops for me. I like Donnie said, I think from Lillier, I'm too scared to try it. One day I'll do it. It's got to be, I think it was like the vegan dog, because there's like a different kind of texture to it. SpaghettiOs. I love SpaghettiOs. More than life
man.
itself.
Yeah. All right.
And then I think there's there used to be some kind of really spicy grape jelly type thing. I'll get that, but that's...
the SpaghettiOs?
Yeah. You'd be surprised.
All right,
yep.
Man. All right, that's cool. That's good.
Super spicy, yeah.
All right. Favorite post-concert food?
Jeez. Pizza. It's got to be pizza.
Yeah. You got a favorite pizza?
I'm a pineapple guy. I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
But I do love pepperoni and pineapple. Like, lately, what we've been doing is, like, I really can't eat before shows. If I'm playing a show, like, if I'm going to go to a show, like, we're probably going to get food before or something. But if I'm playing a show, I can't eat. Like, 7 hours, I can't eat anything. Once I'm done, then I'm like, I'm dying. So we'll buy pizza beforehand and put it in the oven and leave it at home and then come home at like 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, okay, let's have some pizza.
That's the best. That's the best when you do that. Favorite pizza spot in Northeast Ohio? Is that a local place?
Angelo's is good.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered Hungry Howie's, funny enough. Which we were loving Hungry Howie's so much, but they don't deliver to my area, and I only moved 2 minutes away. So not happy about that. But I'm within walking distance from Little Caesars, which is dangerous, and I love Little Caesars. I grew up on that, so I'm like, I love Little Caesars.
All right, I'll give you that. Okay, you've got leftovers: cellophane or tinfoil?
Got to be tinfoil. It has to be tinfoil. Cellophane would be pretty gross.
That'd be wild, wouldn't it? All right, you're in Cleveland. Guardians or Cavs?
I want to say neither. It would have to be the Guardians, though. I'm a baseball guy.
Yeah. All right. What's your spirit animal, Lex?
Wow. There was one time I was running around. I was riding my bike, and I thought I saw a fox that was just like came out of nowhere. So I always feel like maybe like it would be a fox or just a big, big, big crow.
Yeah.
I love crows. Yeah.
Okay. What's your best Halloween costume you ever donned?
Frog and Toad. So me and my girlfriend, Lindsay Bryan, she's an incredible illustrator. We one year decided, I'm a paper mache artist, so I love to like make these giant creations and small little creatures and critters. That was my BFA. But we made these huge frog and toad heads, and we every time she does like a tabling event, we always bring one with us. I always put it on. We won like a Halloween contest dressed as Frog and Toad. That's what people kind of know us for, that more than anything else. Frog and Toad. Yeah.
Love it. That's great. That's a great couples costume too. That's awesome. You have a dog?
I do. Yeah, Shuggy.
Tell me about your dog.
Yeah, she's a pit pointer mix. She's a rescue. We got her from Berea Arf, I think is what it's called. Love that dog so much. She's so sweet. She's a Velcro dog. She's always by her side. She always takes up too much of the bed. We got to push her around a little bit. But she's my little dude, We'll just sit and eat pretzels. She loves pretzels.
That's awesome.
I love that dog.
That's great.
I call her everything but her name too. I call her Donna all the time. I call her Little B. I call her dude. I call her bro. You know, there's a lot.
Yeah, they adapt to whatever. They know what we're talking about.
Right,
Dogs
exactly.
are smart,
Yeah,
man. That's awesome.
yeah.
All right, what's a TV series you're currently addicted to? I don't have time for TV, but like, what do you watch?
Well, you know, we love The Bear so much. I haven't seen the new season yet. We've been watching Mad Men. We had to take a break at some point because it was like the last 3 seasons were just the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Don Draper's got to learn sometime.
Yeah.
And Lindsay's been watching Sex and the City a whole lot, so I've been adjacent to that, learning all of the woes.
All right, give me a 30-second review of the movie that you most watched, that you've recently watched. Most recently, yeah.
What have I watched recently? I couldn't even tell you the last movie I watched. I feel like a terrible person.
What?
Right? I know. Well, we're gonna go see Superman. My brother has given me many, many reviews on Superman. We're a Superman family. We love Superman so much. God, you know what the last movie I watched was? I remember now. It was called like The Island of Missing Children or something like that. It was the dude that played Hellboy. Can't think of his name.
Which one?
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of Ron Perlman's like breakout films. It was directed by the person that did Amelie. It's a French film. And he plays this like big stumbling strongman trying to save these kids from these experiments that are done by a doctor or a scientist, and he's trying to like extract their youth, and he can't sleep, so he's like trying to extract their dreams so he can go to sleep, but then he can't sleep, and there's like underwater scenes, and it's very like, I don't know. God, that's such a cool movie. Yeah.
It sounds layered, man. I don't think I've
gritty.
seen that one, but it sounds like a Cellophane Jane song.
I know, right? It's very Garbage Harbor. It's giving some Garbage Harbor for sure.
I think, okay, so you referenced this already, but if you made art and it wasn't music, what would it be?
I mean, paper mache. That's my main deal. I love gold paint. I paint my shoes gold too, because there just aren't enough good to wear, physically good for your feet, gold shoes. So any chance I get, I would just sell gold shoes. That's what I would do.
Sweet. All right, man. Cool. Thank you. That was a rapid fire round. Do you want to play a song for us now?
Absolutely. I would love to. So I don't have a good acoustic, and I've seen on your previous podcast that people mostly play acoustic. But because I'm doing these backing tracks and because we're in my studio, I can hook all of that stuff up.
Sweet.
So I'm going to give you some studio quality recordings here. It's funny, I was testing out playing this through like Zoom and stuff. Somebody, and they were like, yeah, as soon as you start singing it gets so quiet. I was like, so I thought about recording it just in case and sending it to you later, but we did a test through this program and it seemed like it was fine. So this is kind of the song that spurred Cellophane Jane on. It's called Your Back Door. It's the first track off of the Open Door to the Sun. I wrote it at the end of The Pistolets about my best friend. We were splitting. So here we go.
Cool.
Over there by the phone. Don't miss me.
that was so good. Oh man, just set a fucking high bar. Everybody's gonna have to come and bring it now.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, we live in a day and age now where we've got access to, really decent studio recording stuff. I'm like, get off your phone, plug some stuff in, and make it good.
Yeah, man. God, that sounded good. That was good.
Thank you.
Set a bar. That was really sweet. I lied. I got one more question for you because it just
sure
I had earlier. Do you like musicals at all, stage or screen musicals?
I do. Funny enough, the last one I saw, I've actually got a cassette. I don't think you can see it where you're at. Somebody got me this for my birthday, and it's one of my most prized possessions. I love
Cats.
A little bit from Kmart too. Cats from Kmart.
Yeah. Right, man. All right, so here's my question. I'm a musical nerd too. I can't help but be reminded every time I think of your band name. I can't help but be reminded of that song on Chicago, Cellophane. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, everybody's been talking to me about that. They're like, you got to cover that, right? You do that, right?
That's what I was gonna say, man. You can cover the shit out of that song.
I know, I gotta.
So good. You have to do that.
After I saw, John C. Reilly do it, I'm like, is there anybody else?
John C. Reilly, man.
Right?
John C. Reilly doing it. You could do that, man. You got to do that.
Yeah, I owe it to myself at this point.
When you do that, when you get your jam for that put together, come back on the show and do it for us because I would love to hear that. That would be so sweet.
Yeah, totally. I'm Lex Moda from Cellophane Jane, and my ETA is getting out there and making the music that you love every day. Just keep on rocking.
All right.
Hey, this is Scott Paris. I want to do a quick shout out for Every.Thing.After podcast.
And my ETA.
My ETA is.
And my ETA.
And our Every.Thing.After is.
Our Every.Thing.After.
And my ETA is.
Oh, hey, how's it going? I know you've been going through some stuff. I think we all have. And it's not all bad. But maybe there's enough of that you feel like putting something good back out in the world. Maybe you pick up a guitar or a camera. Maybe you decide to do a podcast or finally write that book. Maybe it's all of those things. It's not the things that happen to us that define us so much as everything after. And that's what we talk about on the Everything After podcast, where we have conversations with musicians and artists and filmmakers and writers, just creatives who are striving to keep their sanity by doing the things that they love and following their passions. If that sounds like you, we hope you'll join our Everything After community on Instagram. And listen, and subscribe to our podcasts that release weekly on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thanks for listening. Until the next thing.